welcome back to my channel and to another meal plan and meal prep with me. Today I'm going to be meal prepping for the week ahead and I have so much to show you. I'm going to be making 4 different dinners, my lunches for the week, a breakfast, snacks and a treat as well, and all the recipes that I'm going to share with you are very much family favorites that me and the kids all love, so they're tried and tested and I hope you really like these ideas. And of course, meal planning and meal prepping can be a great way to stay on track when it comes to health and fitness, so I hope you enjoy this video. If you're new to this channel and you do like what you see, please consider subscribing for more content like this. I'd love to have you. And with all that said, let's get into the meal prep. So first off, I wanted to give you an idea of our meal plan for this week. So I'm making a huge veggie lasagna and we're gonna have that on Monday and Tuesday with garlic bread and salad. I'm also making fish burgers for Wednesday. On Thursday, we're having a soy and honey salmon. And on Friday, we're having a chicken and broccoli bake. So first off, I'm going to meal prep some lunches for Matt and I to have over the next few days so that it's nice and easy to make good choices. It's just ready to go in the fridge. And this is like a Mexican Chipotle bowl. Super simple, so I'll show you how I do it. First off, I'm putting on some brown rice and I tend to do half a cup of dried brown rice for 2 people. So I'm doing that times 3 if that makes sense. And then the rest of the ingredients I pretty much just do as a tray bake. So it's very simple to just chuck into the oven. So I've put on 4 chicken fillets and I've put some fajita seasoning on top and some salsa as well, nearly a whole jar of salsa. And then I'm just gonna chop up some peppers. I think I chopped up 2 and an onion as well. And then I'm just gonna chuck that onto the tray bake as well, maybe with a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I just put the oven on 200 and I stick all of that into the oven for about half an hour. Okay, so now that's cooking away and the rice is as well for a similar amount of time. I'm going to get on with something else, but I'll come back to this and show you how I put it all together in my meal prep glassware. But now I'm gonna make a vegetarian lasagna for the whole family, and this is absolutely huge, so I can make it last us for dinner for 2 nights because I serve it with garlic bread and salad and just make it go that bit further. And it's a very simple recipe. I'll link it down below. You can make it with ground beef or you can use a substitute like I am as well, and the kids don't even notice. But first off, I've just finely chopped an onion and I've browned it. I also added in some garlic powder and some Italian seasoning, and then I'm just cheating with a lasagna sauce jar. I'm just chucking that in, and then I always tend to get a little bit of water. Does everyone else do this? Shake it around and then make sure I've got all the sauce and put that in. Then I'm just gonna give it a mix and then let that simmer away for 15 minutes until it's all cooked and done. So once I've turned the heat down and it's simmering away, I'm gonna check on my tray bake, and I forgot to season the pepper, so I'm just adding some salt and pepper, giving it a bit of a shake, and then I'm also gonna cut up some veggies, so there's no dead time while I'm meal prepping today. So I'm just chopping up a cucumber, a couple of carrots, a pepper as well, because I only had 1 left. But this is just really handy to have in the fridge. I've said it before, but my kids like raw veggies even as a side with dinner or with hummus. And then I'm also making the simplest salad. I'm just chopping up cucumber into cubes, and then I'm also going to cut up the cherry tomatoes, and then you can add feta cheese if you want to, or red onion, and that is just a very simple salad because the kids will eat that, whereas they're not as good with lettuce, but they'll eat this on the side of a lasagna. Yes, I'm just gonna put that in Tupperware and have it in the fridge, and it's not only good for the kids, it's good for me as well. If I'm ever craving something crunchy, I can just reach for this. And quite a few people ask me how long fruit and veg normally lasts in the fridge when I'm meal prepping, but it's probably about 3 to 4 days, maybe even 5 days, but to be honest, it doesn't really last that long in this house. No food does. In the time that I've been doing that, the sauce is all ready, so all I have to do is put the lasagna together. So I'll show you how I layer it. I'm putting a tiny bit of sauce on the bottom so that these lasagna sheets don't stick too much, and I always get the no pre-cooking required sheets, so you can literally just chuck it in. So I'm putting a layer of those first, then about half of the meat sauce. And then instead of the white sauce that you normally get in a lasagna, I find that quite heavy. So a little hack that you can do is just use cottage cheese with some Parmesan and some dried parsley as well, or I'm using Italian seasoning because I don't have parsley. And this is like a much lighter option. It's delicious. It's also a bit better for calories and all of that stuff. And I also put a bit of grated mozzarella in with the white sauce. Then again, I'm doing another layer of pasta, the other half of the meat sauce, and so on. And that's all that I'm going to do. If I had more meat sauce, you can do like a third layer, but you basically can't put any of the lasagna sheets on top because any exposed ones just pretty much burn, I find. So yeah, I'm just going to then do another white sauce with the Parmesan and the Italian seasoning and loads of mozzarella, and that is it. It looks like that, and then once you've cooked it, it comes out looking delicious like this. And as I said, I can make this last for 2 nights because I serve it with the salad and the garlic bread, and obviously the kids' portions are that little bit smaller. So yes, this is actually our dinner tonight. I wanted to show you what it looked like, and I just craved it after I'd put it all together. So that is the lasagna. And then my tray bake is all done, so I'm just cutting open one of the fillets to double check, and I just have to put it all together. So I got this glass Tupperware on Amazon for meal prepping, and it's great. You can microwave it, just store it in the fridge. So I'm just putting in 2 or 3 tablespoons of the rice, and then I'm going to just chop up all of the chicken, and I'm going to make 4 go over 6 obviously, and then add the peppers and the onions, and then I'm also going to add in some black beans as well and a slice of lime. You can also add in things like sweet corn if you wanted to, and then when I actually go to eat it, after I've microwaved it, I'll also add on some coriander and maybe like some sour cream, something like that. And it's really, really delicious. It's super filling. I actually had this today for lunch and I couldn't finish all of it, but it kind of worked out because Matt had my leftovers. And yeah, so I'm just gonna stick this into the fridge. That's our lunches for the next 3 days. So if we're having a busy few days, it's just ideal. And as I said, easy to make really good choices. Next up, I'm going to show you the simplest chicken and broccoli bake that's so delicious. My kids eat this as well. And every time I share it on Instagram or somewhere like that, I get messages from people saying they've made it and they loved it and how great it was. So first off, I'm just putting in about 4 chopped up chicken fillets, but obviously you can do less if it's for less people. And I'm just browning up those chopped up bits of chicken, and that's all the cooking I'm going to do. Then I just chopped up 1 head of broccoli, and I'm going to stick the chicken and the broccoli into a tray like this. And then I'm going to make up a very simple sauce to put on top of it. And I'm actually going to freeze this dinner today and have later on in the week because it freezes really well. It's easy to do. This is a great one as well if you're pregnant, you're like batch cooking before you have a baby. So for the sauce, I'm adding in 2 cans of condensed soup. I tend to do 1 chicken condensed soup and 1 condensed mushroom soup, but you can use 2 chicken or 2 mushroom if you have that to hand. And then I'm adding in a big tablespoon of mild curry powder. You can add more in if you want to, but for my kids, I just literally add the 1, and it does have like a nice curry like taste to it. Then you just whack all of that soupy sauce on top. And then the secret ingredients, which is a little bit weird, is you add on a packet of crisps. Could be anything, but I have cheese and onion crisps to hand. So I'm just crushing up the crisps in my hands, like while it's still in the bag. And then I just open it up and put this on top. And then you top it off with grated cheese as well. And all this does, it gives it like a really nice crispy topping. This is definitely not like the healthiest dinner ever, but my kids love it, and I serve it on rice and they eat it all up, and it is, I really like it. It's very like comfort food. So as I said, I'm going to stick it in the freezer, and then when I come to cook it, I will probably take it out in the morning and thaw it. And next up, I'm going to meal prep some salmon. I'm not actually cooking the salmon today. I'm literally just marinating it, and then we'll have it later on in the week. And I think I've shown this before, literally the simplest marinade. So I'm just sticking it into glass Tupperware, putting on some soy sauce and honey, and that is pretty much it. I'm kind of like rub that around. I think I added a bit more soy sauce as well, but this is just a really nice glaze and my kids really like it. And then when I do cook this salmon, I just stick it into the air fryer. There's a fish setting, but I think it's for like 9 minutes. And then I also wanted to show you that I'm meal prepping some pancakes for the kids. Obviously you could buy pre-made pancakes, but when you make it yourself, you just know what goes into it. It's also much cheaper and so easy to batch cook because it freezes so well. Anytime I make pancakes or waffles, you can make double the batter and then freeze the leftover, and then when you want to eat it, you just stick them into the toaster and they just work really well. So I'll link the recipe down below because I'm kind of like flying through this. I think I could probably make these in my sleep, but I think it's 300 grams of self-raising flour, 300 ml of milk, 2 eggs, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of baking powder, and you just whisk it all up, and it's literally that simple. These are definitely more of an American style, like fluffy pancake than like a crepe. And then I'm just literally going to cook it as you normally would, and I think this made about 10 pancakes. And then I just let it cool and then package them up in these like great little Ziploc baggies that I have. And then, as I said, I'm going to stick them into the freezer. I could actually leave some in the fridge if I thought, oh, they could have that tomorrow or something. But I think I'm just going to freeze it today. And then it's so nice because during the week, like even if it's a school day, it's not like a stress. You can just stick them into the toaster and it's just something a little bit different. And you can always adapt this recipe to make it a bit healthier if you wanted like wholemeal flour, or add in a bit of like porridge oats into the pancake recipe. But these are just pretty much my normal fluffy American pancakes. Next up, I'm going to show you how we make these really delicious fish burgers that my kids actually love, and so do I and Matt. And it's like the simplest thing. So if your child is not a fish fan, try breading it like this and then sticking it into a burger bun, and I'm pretty sure they might eat it. So I've shown this method so many times. I use this for homemade goujons, I use this for chicken escalopes, but you pretty much just need 3 bowls, one with flour, one with egg that has been beaten up, and then one with breadcrumbs. And these are store-bought breadcrumbs, but you can make them yourself as well. And then I've just got some white fish. I think this is haddock, and I'm just cutting it into like burger size shapes. And then I'm just going to put them through all of the bowls. So first off, I'm going to coat it in the flour, and then that will make the egg sticks. So then I put it into the egg and coat it, and then finally into the breadcrumbs, and it's literally that simple. So now I just have to do that to all of the pieces of fish, and then this will actually feed us for a couple of nights. So anything we don't eat this week, I'll put into the freezer because it freezes quite well. And then the way that I cook it is I actually put it into the air fryer, but you can also bake these in the oven, or you can even make them in a frying pan if you fry them for a few minutes on each side. They cook really well that way as well. And the trick is to use one hand for dry ingredients and one hand for wet. I think I was using both for both, but that is a little hack for you. And as I said, the kids really like this. We've just served it with raw veggies or salad and chips. And the last thing that I wanted to show you today is a sweet treat, but I put it at the end because it's the first time I've tried this recipe, and I almost felt a bit like, oh, I should have stuck to my normal flapjacks, but they were really delicious. These are Flapjack Biscuits. So I'll link the recipe down below. It's very simple to follow. You need 100 grams of unsalted butter, 100 grams of self-raising flour, 100 grams of rolled oats, 100 grams of golden syrup, and then 100 grams of nuts and raisins. So you can see it's very easy to remember. And then you literally just whiz it all up. I just used my hand whisker, but you can stick it into a food processor as well. And then you put all of that into a cake tin, preferably the type of cake tin that the bottom comes out of. And I also lined it with a baking paper so that nothing would stick. I put a little bit of the golden syrup at the bottom because the recipe said that it's really nice when that like kind of cooks on the bottom. Stick the batter in, just pat it all down, and then put it into the oven on 180 for just 15 minutes. And then you take it out, take the bottom off, like let it cool for about 10 minutes or so, and then you cut it up, and it is really delicious. Like, it made the house smell so good, and the kids do really like it. And I feel like it's a bit like there's a bit more to it as a treat, because there's like rolled oats in it, and there's nuts, and there's raisins. So yeah, give it a try. I'll link it down below. But I think I still prefer just straight up flapjacks personally. But the kids did really like it, and it's really nice with like a cup of tea. Right, so that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below which meal was your favorite and that you'll be trying. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.